Hello and welcome to the Otaku Network podcast. My name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And we are into week 10 of the 2025 spring anime season. This week on Kowloon Generic Romance, we begin with a little bit of a flashback from old Reiko, showing us a situation where she goes to make peace with a manager of a building on the northern end of Kowloon after their tenant up and vanished. The primary reason for this flashback is to establish that this section of Kowloon is a little bit more dangerous than anywhere else within the neighborhood. Hajime gets upset at the old Reiko for her safety, even though she's been doing this a lot longer than he has. So we cut back to the normal time, and we continue the conversation between Hebinuma Miyuki's henchman and Hebinuma the Elder's henchman, Xiaohei. They're wrapping up their conversation regarding the suggestion of killing the clone of Reiko. Reiko, meanwhile, is freaking out about the older version of her's glasses and how they keep showing her images of the past her. She's talking about this with Yaomei, and they end up meeting with Gwen. When talking with Gwen, they dig a little bit more into the personality of the now deceased version of Reiko. He pretty much comes out and says that he didn't really like her and was a bit jealous of her in regards to Hajime, and doesn't really know the full truth behind her death.
But he also did feel guilty for not comforting Hajime.
They get interrupted with the male version of Xiaohei, and Gwen excuses himself to track him down, to corner him and find out what the hell he's doing, and they begin to have a discussion about the fact that his version and the clone version of him still exist. Gwen talks about how he kind of has a theory about why that may be the case. We don't get any further insight into Gwen's thinking about why this may be the case of it happening. We do, though, get confirmation that both versions are still existent within the city.
It has to be something to do with changing yourself. That's probably why Yaomei can see, because she revamped the furniture, for lack of better words.
Reiko struggles with Hajime and his sudden coldness towards her. The visions that the glasses keep giving her are essentially haunting, and she becomes enamored with these talismans that she's noticing more frequently placed throughout the city. She starts to peel them off, and on some of them are internet error codes, deepening her confusion and mystery even further. The episode kind of caps off with Yaomei eating what I would assume is a piece of candy that she got on her trip out to Greater Hong Kong.
It's the one that Weasel gave her.
Is it?
Yep, he gave her a chocolate.
When they were at the internet cafe. Got it.
Because they were right next to each other.
Yeah. And for continuity, Weasel is the name of the younger Hajime's henchman. And once she consumes it, it kind of triggers a flood of memories of sorts. So episode 11 will probably dig into what's going on with her mental state and her interaction with the ruin that is Kowloon.
She going bananas.
There's yet to be a bad episode of this show.
Yeah, there hasn't been a thing that I haven't liked about Kowloon yet. I find it very captivating. And it's very hard to look away. I don't want to do things in the middle of the show, where I have to get up to I will make sure that I have breakfast and coffee and stuff ready for when I start watching Kowloon, so you don't have to get up.
So you can fully pay attention to it and be invested?
Yes, because if I don't, then it's I don't feel as invested, and I feel like I miss things.
I suspect that we're going to get all the answers that we need to get from the run of the series.
Yeah, I feel like so too.
It'll be interesting to see what the root of everything really is.
I wonder if there's going to be plots left unanswered.
I'm sure there will. In a perceivable kind of reality, they're not going to be able to easily answer all the questions.
Yeah.
They may never understand why the generics spawn. We may not just get to why that happens. And that may not necessarily be relevant to us concluding the story in a satisfactory way.
Yeah. So this week in Vigilante, we learn a fucking lot.
Because I don't want to forget it. This episode seemed really long.
It did seem very, very, very long.
In a good way?
Yeah.
But they got to the halfway point, and I thought the episode was done with, and then it kept going with more story. I'm like, holy hell.
It was nice to get that cool fun at the end.
Yeah.
But the front arc was fucking loaded.
This may be the best episode of the show.
So we open with a reiteration of the history of what's going on in the world of My Hero Academia. It then cuts into the episode with Knuckle Duster speaking with a woman. He explains how he's reconnecting with family members. He's making friends. He has all of this positive stuff that he's been doing. And he gets called by a doctor who explains that this woman, who's his wife, has been suffering from a very traumatic experience, which we very quickly find is caused by Killer Bee, who then a little bit later we find out is probably their daughter.
I'm on the fence about that, honestly.
She is she's going under an assumed name, is what it seems. One of the thugs is looking through to try to track her down. Nobody knows where she is, and then he gets assaulted by a girl made of bees.
One of Killer Bee's friends
is actually just 10,000 bees in a girl suit.
She's being puppeted.
After Knuckle Duster leaves the hospital, he meets up with the thug group, Bone Thugs in Harmony.
Soga. That's his name, Soga.
But I'm going to call them Bone Thugs in Harmony. We then learn that Knuckle Duster has has contracted them to try to help him find Killer Bee. And we get this very big subplot throughout the entire episode of him looking for this girl. On the brighter side of the episode, we find out that Popstep has been asked to attend an event where she has been asked to sing with other local artists at the grand opening of a mall's like outdoor food court thing on the top floor of this mall. She is very nervous and is asking Koichi for comfort and or guidance and or support, to which he immediately fumbles because he's socially awkward. Then we immediately get a very out of character Knuckle Duster with the two kids. And he basically like father figures the fuck out of them and even like boops Popstep on the head with a newspaper. Oh, and another important thing, when he's talking with Bone Thugs in Harmony, he does make a comment about how they are being used as kind of bait.
Ends justify the means.
Ends justify the means.
In regards to Popstep and the crawler.
Yep. So we get this like reveal, and then immediately this hypocritical juxtaposition of him showing care and compassion to the basically two kids, an 18-year-old and a 15 or 16-year-old. And it's like, are you a piece of shit? Are you a piece of shit? Then Koichi, still fumbling, goes to Makoto for help because he knows she is very good at managing people's image. So Captain Celebrity's very quickly reintroduced with his like macho
the cheer squad,
teen cheer squad, and still has that fucking flag. And because of this, Makoto is able to use CC's status to basically bump up this grand opening to make Popstep's performance more impactful to her overall career as a pop idol. And so we get this juxtaposition of like super duper serial versus more lighthearted and fun. And we basically kind of end the episode with two really important reveals. One, that Killer Bee is basically like squatting in this house of this man and woman who she has puppeted with the bees, or maybe has just killed. And that she is gonna fuck up that event that Popstep is going to, and Knuckle Duster has found her and is kind of stalking her.
Here's my theory about the event. Knuckle Duster has facilitated this thing happening for Popstep with the intention of drawing out, or at least having them both there as well, while drawing out Killer Bee.
Probably.
It was very suspect that immediately following the conversation with the three idiots between Knuckle Duster and talking about, you know, the ends justify the mean of what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
In his exacting his revenge on Killer Bee, the lizard guy of the three looked at Discount Wolverine and was like, "You can't trust this dude. You should probably stop dealing with him because he's trouble."
Also, the reason I suspect that Killer Bee's their daughter is because the wife was like mumbling that like, oh, you're home.
I had the thoughts about maybe it might be their daughter as well. I don't know if I'm committed either way, though, honestly.
I don't know if I'm committed either way either, but she does have the eye patch too. But
well, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not like...
There's a good chance, but I don't think we have enough evidence.
I'm not in one camp or another. And we also got to realize that quirks are inherited. So we have to have an open mind about the possibilities of many different relationships between Knuckle Duster and his wife and then Killer Bee. It could be that, yes, Knuckle Duster is very obviously quirkless. And that's probably why he's looking for the people that are jacked up on turbo, because her bees make turbo.
She's working with somebody, though, too.
Well, right, but
that's never been revealed who that is.
It could be that her bees...
They could be the origin of it, yeah.
Yes. No, this episode was like...
It was so good.
Like, I wasn't anticipating this, like, fun show that we've just kind of enjoyed comic booky, like, let's have fun with this.
Well, it's gotten dark a couple of times.
Right.
Like with Stendhal.
Yeah, that's fair. But I wasn't anticipating it to get, like, this serious at the end, where you're like, actual plot? And not just cameos of heroes from My Hero Academia?
I think we had assumed that the overarching plot was going to be in relation to the disbursement of the drug.
Yeah.
We just didn't understand how much of a prominent role Killer Bee had with it, but that's essentially become the plot.
At first, I just thought this was going to be like a, haha, I'm making Steve watch shonen anime. But then I got super invested, and this might be blasphemy for those of you that love My Hero Academia, but I think this show is better than My Hero Academia.
It's a good story. I think part of it is that we do have a very narrow character.
And don't get me wrong, I love My Hero Academia, but I think this is better. I think the story is told better.
I'm not invested in that world, but it helps, I would think, that it doesn't have to go through the troubles of doing all of the world building that the original series has done itself. That said, though, because I know very little about the world building of MHA, this as a standalone works really well too, in my opinion, from what I've experienced. This episode is absolutely the best of the series so far. It was so good. It was dense as hell. Like I said, I couldn't believe that so much information and story got dumped into the 20 minutes that existed. It felt like it was way longer than it really was, in a good way. That says a lot for the writing and then the production team and how they're putting it together. Like, this episode worked really well.
The show is just good.
It checks a lot of boxes that are quality.
It was a sleeper because I didn't anticipate it being this good.
It was good just right off the bat.
I thought, in all honesty, that it was just going to be another like fun, quirky shonen.
Yeah.
You know, hits all the tropes. But the best part about this,
it kind of doesn't.
It makes you think it's going to do the trope.
Yeah.
And then goes, ha.
Yeah, it's kind of forging its own path in a lot of ways.
And like a lot of the episodes do start off where you think it's going to be the trope. Like the mom episode. We thought that was going to be a trope.
We thought that was going to be the whole damn episode.
The first time we saw Ingenium, we thought that was going to be a trope episode. Yeah. The first time we saw Eraserhead, we thought it was just going to be cameos the whole time. And it hasn't been.
No. The only real important cameo or persistent cameo has been Ingenium, but it makes sense in relation.
Eraserhead.
No, really Ingenium. We really don't see Eraserhead.
He's going to show up again next episode.
I didn't watch the preview intentionally.
Oh, fair.
Ingenium isn't just there as a cameo. He's a vital figure in Koichi's current existence.
Yeah.
And him bettering himself and becoming more confident in what he can do. He's the mentor figure without really falling into that trope.
I would love to see Koichi go from being like an All Might fan to an Ingenium fan by the end of the series. Because like, one, that's going to be super devastating when you now think into the future when Ingenium gets
put into a wheelchair.
I think it would be awesome to see like him change his perspective and be like, this hero is now my idol because he's actually been there and like helped me and was like actually an important figure in my life instead of just idolizing All Might because All Might's popular.
Yeah. And, you know, he represents the all-encompassing concept of what a hero is.
Granted,
looked up to us.
All Might is the ultimate hero technically in Japan. He does encompass everyone's ideals of a hero.
Yeah.
It's just, it'd be nice for one of the main characters in the two series to not just be an All Might fanboy. Because Deku is also an All Might fanboy.
It was a great episode.
I just want more. I want more.
Yeah.
I need to get
hopefully we get more in the idea of
another
another season at some point, down the road.
My Hero's so popular, it probably will happen.
This week on Lazarus, the team finally investigates the vial of medicine that Chris had pocketed all the way back in episode 2 when they were casing Dr. Skinner's apartment. They discover that it is medicine that is commonly prescribed to people who have received artificial heart transplants, which leads them to begin fruitlessly searching for anything that may indicate that Dr. Skinner had received an artificial heart in the past couple of years, after pretty much understanding that he's not going to make that big of a clue drop out of air for them. Hirsch brings up the idea that there is rumors of discrete medical facilities for the ultra wealthy that highlight confidentiality above anything else. At this, Leland steps forward and, without saying anything, shows them that he is the heir to the Astor family. He, Doug, and Axel head to his family estate, where he begs his older sister to get him in touch with their family's medical provider, seeing as his family's medical provider is part of this discreet, secretive, high-cost medical
facility of the hyper elite.
After a bit of familial drama between the siblings, or half-siblings, given Leland is a bastard, and he's the heir to the family, seeing as the family is archaic and only the oldest surviving male offspring can take on the family's power.
Hereditary titles. That's what they get for being Canadian and still following British aristocracy.
So while this is going on, Hirsch is meeting with her boss,
Abel,
and they are reviewing footage he received about a terrorist incident that took place before Dr. Skinner had disappeared. The footage shows a alternate description of the events in which false alarm was called, government security forces squared off against airport security forces, somebody had an itchy trigger finger, and all hell broke loose. In the ensuing gunfight, a package that Dr. Skinner had was ruptured.
Yep, it got hit.
So what he was doing is he was smuggling some Hapna out of the facility for unknown reasons. And the exposure of it in such a dense amount led to a lot of unintentional deaths, apparently.
How Dr. Skinner didn't die is amazing.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself, too. That was a bit of a gray area of understanding.
Which, for frame of reference, too, that accident is what Chris was involved in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
When Chris was presumed dead by her KGB compatriots.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know if you had realized that was the same accident.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But yeah, it makes
sense. Yeah, no, that was
sense.
the same accident that Chris was involved in.
Perfect. Thank you for filling in the gaps in my memory. I appreciate it. Because, yeah, they're watching the video and I'm like,
why is this important?
Leland and his bros go and talk to his family doctor, at which, given, fuck it, the world's going to end, she decides,
her patient
integrity
doctor.
Be damned. I replaced his heart. We had a monitoring device on him so we could make sure that everything was working correctly. But pretty much after he left the facility, it got encrypted and we don't know if he's alive or not. Here's the data. Enjoy. Reconvene back at base. Leland kind of has a breakdown moment where he admits that he was a mole and everybody's like, shut up, dummy. We figured it out already. Stop crying. And they crack into the data and they detect that the signal is coming from Islamabad. So
we have to deal with Popcorn Wizard again.
Elena is like, time for me to step up. I got to fight this bitch myself. I'm heading to Islamabad. Doug is like, hey, now, it's dangerous. You're a computer jockey. There's going to be gunplay. I'm going to come with you. So the episode ends with Elena and Doug in a Hercules probably, flying off to Islamabad to confront Popcorn Wizard. And skipping back to some more of the conversation between Hirsch and Abel, they talk about how at the time Axel was at a specific prison in Arizona, the prison was running experiments on death row and life term inmates, essentially forcing them to do drug testing, of which Axel was presumably a part of this program. The records of it have all been wiped because this is some sketchy, shady, bad stuff. And
Illegal.
Axel and this doctor who was working with this project are apparently the only surviving members of this. Everyone else has died through what can only be assumed as cover-up means.
Yeah, Incom probably has
Oh, yeah, that's right.
clapped their cheeks.
The project was being run by...
Incom, which is also what caused the accident at the airport.
Yes.
That was Incom agents and airport security. So
And-
it seems like this whole fucking mess is Incom. Like maybe even why Dr. Skinner's doing what he's doing might be Incom's fault.
I mean, I brought it up before. Hopna may not actually be deadly.
Maybe.
This could be an entire ruse to expose something else.
Maybe.
Incom is the ones that hired the aggressive piano tuning assassin to take out Axel, and now we have very firm understanding as to why. Because they've got to finish cleaning up the mess that they made in that Arizona prison during illegal drug experiments. And as Axel is
Sponsored by the U.S. government.
As Axel is on his way to retrieve this witness he needs to save, the piano wire assassin has caused a disturbance, so we're going to lead to a face-off between Parkour Champion and Tenchu Stealth Assassin. So next week's episode is probably going to be both annoying and enjoyable, as we get the return of Popcorn Wizard, which is a very
flamboyant,
bold character choice by the director. This is a good episode. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I felt they spent a little bit too much time with Leland's family thing.
Yeah.
A lot. Like we know a lot about Leland now.
Yeah.
Though they did spend an entire episode on Chris's background.
Yep.
So
the only ones we don't really know anything about are Doug, Chris, Axel, and Elena.
Yeah. Well, we know about Elena.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Never mind. We spent a whole episode talking about Elena's past.
Okay. All right. So maybe Leland's was justified and
so
it wasn't as
we
long as Leland or as
Elena's or Chris's.
As Elena's or Chris's, yeah.
So
right.
his was
Fair.
only half an
I'll
episode.
take it back.
That makes Leland got shafted.
I'll take it back.
Actually, technically, you could count part of the episode prior to as Leland's backstory because Abel was friends with Leland's dad, which now makes me wonder what the fuck Abel was doing to be friends with like this Canadian aristocrat.
He is high-ranking government official.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. I forgot about that. I regretted my sentence as soon as it left my mouth.
Doug's, we've yet to dig into anything about Doug.
And Axel, I think, is going to be the
whole catalyst.
Yeah. Axel's going to be like, here's the end. This is why Axel was important.
We at least have an understanding as to why the assassin's going after Axel in relation to him being a survivor of this experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And that may just be a red herring because there's still the entire concept of what did he do to get put in prison in the first place that nobody knows, and the intelligent spook guy vaguely alluded to in the previous episode.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a red herring, or it could be really important.
I'm sure it's really... the
whole thing with Axel's character so far is nobody fucking knows what's up with Axel.
We don't know anything about him, and he plays everything really
close to his chest. He does not share anything that he doesn't have to. Because when Chris asked him why he was in jail for 300-something years, he's just like, I like to escape.
No, it was like 700 years.
Or whatever.
Yeah, he likes to escape prison. That doesn't explain how he got there in the first place.
He was in a jail for death row inmates and maximum security lifers.
Because the government's trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And it probably isn't directly related, at least initially, to this experimentation thing. They were probably hoping that would fucking kill him.
Yeah. They were hoping because they were using the prototype of Hopna on them. Boom. Good episodes this week.
Yeah, good episodes. Some were really good.
Yeah.
Lazarus was good. It's the past two episodes have made up for the disappointment that I feel.
I'm going to argue that the best episode of the three this week was from Vigilante.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, hands down. Vigilante was the best.
Like, Kowloon was good.
Kowloon was good.
But
Kowloon was maintained.
It was consistent. But Vigilante was just like...
Vigilante stepped it up. No, it was really
knocked
good.
That shit out the park.
Especially after, like, the softball that was last episode.
Yeah. Still a good episode, though.
And then Lazarus, we are moving into a positive direction of resolution finally. Now we just have to get through Popcorn Wizard.
Maybe just right off the bat, headshot.
We knew they were coming back.
I know. Right off the bat, headshot.
I won't answer any questions.
They'll just use her data.
Anything else?
It was very easy to just quickly just boom, 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 and digest everything.
The excitement is building for the resolution of these stories. Even with My Hero Academia Vigilante, where we know we're not going to get like a true resolution. We're going to get, hopefully, the ending of an arc with the potentiality of more eventually down the line.
Yeah, we should, very realistically, this will end the arc, and we will have a good stopping point as we wait for the next season.
With this week's episodes, I feel confident that we will be receiving satisfactory conclusions to these shows.
Yes.
Little less so in Lazarus, but I'm building more confidence. Thanks for listening. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ring that bell.
Come harass us on Discord or our socials. And do not forget about Anime Plus, which comes out on Wednesdays, where we are reviewing the second season of Shoshimen, How to Become Ordinary. A couple more weeks left until we move into the summer season.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. We will check you guys next time.